Hi, we're here. I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Hi, Linda, Amma, and Alma. Thanks so much for joining me. I think we're live. Um, maybe each of you could say hello and tell us just quickly about yourself and where you are. And then I think after that, Linda can maybe lead us through a meditation. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to say hi first, Linda?
Sure. So my name is Linda Natera, and I'm here in Austin, Texas, and I'm the director and founder of Sana Yoga.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hello, everybody. My name is Amma Fandiño, and I am from Colombia, and now I'm in the countryside near Bogota. An
Yay.
accessible yoga teacher.
Alma.
Now me. Hi. So I'm Alma, and I am in Mexico, in Merida, Yucatan, Mexico. And I teach accessible yoga here in different languages, Spanish, English, and German.
Thank you. So, Linda, will you lead us through the sentence?
Yes, of course. All right, so we're gonna stay here, bringing our awareness to our breath. Kind of take the time to settle in and notice how your body's feeling today or your mind. Just take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhaling out. Taking a moment here to come together as a community and connecting all of us from all over the world in this very short meditation, just a moment of coming together with our breath. We're going to take another deep inhale through our nose. Exhale out completely through the mouth. One more breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale out. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having us, Giovanna.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Some other people are saying hello, like Berenice is excited to hear from the panel. Thanks from a Latina yogi in Indiana, yogini in Indiana, and Ola from Lorena. I wanted to say, of course, this panel is in English. I realize that. But we're planning another one. Maybe, Amma, can you tell us the next one we're going to be doing, or one that you'll be doing in Spanish?
Yes, sure. Hello, everybody. Very happy to be here sharing with all of you. We are going to have another panel in Spanish. Perhaps I should be speaking in Spanish or not. But we are having, that will be hosted through our Accessible Yoga Spanish group. And it will be May 14th at 12 hours, Mexico City and Colombia. And we are having a teacher from Costa Rica, from Peru, and also from Mexico, and I will be leading from Colombia. So, welcome.
And I thought it was 1400 the time.
Yeah, the 14 hours.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, and you know what, we can list it in the notes here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
Amma, can you tell us how are things going for you personally in Colombia? What's it like there?
Yes, in Colombia we're having the same situation, facing the same difficulties as like many parts of the world. We've been in social distancing, isolation, since like 6 weeks now. Very, very difficult. No economic activities. We are not allowed to go to the streets or anything. For example, in my case, I'm in the countryside in a small town, and we are allowed only to go out 1 day a week to buy food or go to the bank and anything else. So it's been very, very, very difficult, very strict. So far, we have like 6,000 contaminated and almost 300 deaths. It's not that uh, critical, but still we are up in the curve. So this
So
is
it's
our
still getting
situation.
worse. And how
Yes.
about, well, maybe we can come back to you with about yoga community later, but how about Alma? Do you want to say anything about Mexico? How's it going, Alma?
Well, we are officially, yeah, we're officially in phase 3 of the epidemic. Can you hear me well? Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of, yeah, there are, however, discrepancies in terms of how many or how reliable the numbers of cases reported are. There's also a large need for testing, so it's not sure how this is going to go. And in terms of yoga, although about 3 weeks ago it was requested that the studios will be closed, there's certain studios and certain teachers who are still teaching live with all the that implies.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mexico is a
Wow.
weak state, so what you have is that the state doesn't have the power to really enforce the law. So there's many ways. What they call it is a puerta cerrada. So at closed doors. Um, yeah,
Wow.
difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Linda, how about
That's
you?
what it's going.
Linda, you're in Texas.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah,
that,
and we are banned and open over here starting today. Capacity, they're starting to open, not all businesses, right? So right now we don't have um, gyms or like yoga studios or hair salons open, but they opened up the mall, the movie theaters, all the shopping centers, but they have to be open at like a 25% capacity.
hmm.
And then if everything goes well, they're gonna raise it to 50 and
Hmm.
then all the way until it's fully open. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can understand. I mean, everyone has a valuable point, right? I mean, I consider, I mean, people that want everything open because they are small business owners, right? And then, and so I understand that, because not everyone has like money set aside, especially when you have a small business. And then you have people that are like, no, I want to be home. I want to, it's too soon. But so all points are valid. So, but yeah, right now, all the yoga studios here in Austin are closed.
Okay.
Mhm.
And actually, that's what I wanted to go back to you, Amma, in Colombia about your students. Like, you had to stop teaching, and I know you work in hospitals and prisons. Is that right?
Yeah, for me it has been like a dramatic change, like everything like almost stopped because as you said, I'm teaching in a prison in Bogota. So the prison now doesn't allow like anything like from outside. So it's completely closed. And also I'm teaching to the cancer patients in a hospital. And also we are not allowed to go anymore there.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that we are not able to have an online space with them because in the prison they don't have internet and they are not allowed to use it. And in the hospital, they prohibited all the group activities. So just the patients are very isolated, and there is no way to gather them like in a space where in the same thing that we were doing before.
Mm.
So what I'm doing is to record classes and send it to the administrators, and they are like trying to have some small like spaces for people that might be able to practice, but it's very sad, yeah, in the sense that I'm not like going anymore. I'm teaching an online class with a mixed group, like mixed level group, and this has been very interesting, a learning curve, very challenging
Mm-hmm.
in different ways
Yeah.
that we can perhaps talk later about the challenges. But yes, I'm still active, but my students from the hospital and the jail, no, not possible
Yeah.
for now, and perhaps for the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Alma, can you hear me, Alma?
Yeah,
Okay. I was just wondering, how about your students? Have you've
my
had to,
students.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning when all this started, the students were bringing their props to the different locations where I was working. That was pretty good. But at a certain point, that it was just too risky, so I decided to take my classes online. And this was actually to the request of my students, because they felt that this possibility of creating a little bit of normality within everything that was going on so out of control was important. So I took all my classes online. And it's been a challenge. First, technically, because we don't have the same access in different countries and in different places to technology and reliable internet services and all that.
Right.
Then you have to teach. You have to learn how to adapt your teaching to the new medium. There are differences. So your sequencing gets affected. This new normal is different, and also how to create meaningful interactions. Those were some of the points that I thought were more important in this transition. So at the moment we're doing it online. I'm still teaching online. We are officially in a lockdown in Mexico, and in that sense, I'm very obedient, and I think it's too risky considering what is going on here. It's just too risky to do any other type of interactions at the moment.
Right. Linda, how about you? And are you doing online teaching?
Yeah, well, I started right away when all this happened. My parents live in Tijuana, across the border from San Diego. And so, believe it or not, my main concern was my parents, because like Alma was expressing a lot, the way the system is over there is very different. And so that was my concern with them. So I right away in my page of Sana Yoga, yeah, I have people that are local, but I also have, because the classes are in what I posted, the majority about 90%, 80% is Spanish. I have people from other places, around Austin, and so I right away started teaching yoga, chair yoga, Facebook Live. You know, I had never done anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was very new. I mean, I've used Zoom before for like when we used to have our meetings, and then like I use it for school right now. But to me, Zoom was like, well, not everyone in my community knows how to use Zoom.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of training on having to show how to use Zoom. And
And
so
how
I
did it
just,
go? Could they figure it out?
No, not yet. Monday we
Yeah.
start our first class with Zoom. The class that was on Mondays on Facebook, and I'm moving it to Zoom. So I'm hoping it works out, you know what I mean? But I started teaching a chair yoga on the Facebook Live in Spanish, you know, and then from there, the beauty of all this is that I had other nonprofits contacted me, you know, and then they're like, can you focus on this community? And then like another community that focus on HIV testing and medication. They're like, we need someone to teach our Spanish community, so can you teach? And that's why then the Monday class is like when I teach it, they share it in their group.
I see.
And so I mean it's new to me. I have never done classes on Facebook Live and stuff like that. I mean I posted stuff, but not like a whole class. You know what I mean? And so it's been a little bit weird for me. Like oh my god, like I'm really like out there, but you know,
Yeah,
go with
it's weird. It's weird for all of us.
the
I'm so glad you're doing it, though. That's wonderful. I was
yeah.
concerned about that. I was concerned about people having access to
Yeah.
Zoom and internet in general and being able to
Yeah.
take these classes. I feel like a lot of accessible yoga happens for people who don't necessarily have access to, internet or a lot of technology or know how to use it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a difficult situation,
Yeah.
But Amma, did you speak with some other people in our community about that? I think you have other
Well,
people.
Yeah.
uh-huh. Well, I have spoken. I actually posted something in the Facebook page for the Spanish-speaking community. Didn't get any feedback on that, but I could tell you if you're interested a little bit about the experience of other colleagues here in Merida, that I know what's going on just in some of their cases. Um, we have to also see that the starting point when the pandemic started, the living conditions of teachers here in Mexico were different. The average or yoga teachers can make maybe 150 pesos for a class, so that would be what, like $7 for a class. Very little money. So most people have to have a job separately from yoga to start with. Or have to teach classes, run from class to class to make a little bit of money. The possibility of having savings or being able to finance equipment or whatever you're going to need for teaching online is reduced right away in terms of economical power. And suddenly the studios got closed. In Mexico, there's not unemployment insurance neither. So that means you have to figure it out. Yeah? So unfortunately, here there's so many people graduating from all kinds of yoga schools that you find hundreds of teachers in the city, hundreds, and they don't have a job. So they are having to be resourceful and figuring out how to get a little bit of an income, offering delivery services, for example, because now people over 60 years of age are not allowed to go to certain supermarkets, for example, or to certain stores to shop. So offering that kind of services or figuring out other options. Yeah. A few people are doing some work through Facebook, and they are doing that for free, which causes a certain problematic among the community because they do everything for free, but there's people who live from teaching yoga that is seen as an unfair practice or an unproductive practice to do everything for free, and something that contributes to an even deeper devaluation of what we do as yoga teachers.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's a very divided community. It's problematic at the moment.
Yeah, that's very similar, I think, to what's going on in the U.S. and just online in general. A lot of questions about whether free yoga is good or bad. I think there's two sides to that. You know, it's good for people who can't afford it right now. But it's not good for yoga teachers who are trying to survive. So I think we just need to educate people more about that yoga teachers are human and need to eat and have housing.
Right. Well, you know what Nishala Devi said in this interview with Jim Brown, that was great. She said, yeah, the yoga teachings are for free, but the electricity bill is not.
Yeah, I remember her saying that. Yeah, I've heard her say that before. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to pay at the dance studio where I teach yoga. I still have to pay even though I'm not using it, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, I am giving my classes for free. It's not a lot that I'm teaching. I'm only teaching like 4 times, you know, but 2 of those classes I get paid, you know, by the nonprofit, and they hire me. So those are classes are free and open to the public. So I mean, and then 2 of my other classes also are free. You know what I mean? But I mean, I feel like Alma was saying, you know, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the other yoga teachers that teach in Spanish here in the U.S., but I mean, and I think I shared this last when we were in San Francisco, when we had that talk. Um, uh, Not everyone wants to, like, for example, like me, I cannot teach a regular $15 to $20 a class because the community that I'm focusing on is right now seem like more effective than anyone, you know, because there's a lot of people that don't have papers, you know, that are legal. Yeah. You don't get any benefit, you know, and you pay taxes. And I don't know, like, I feel like right there, it's like you gotta see, you know what I mean? Like if someone can't get any money, to me, it's like I just rather give my class away, you know? So, but like I said, it did help me teaching those classes Facebook Live because I had a couple of people contacted me and they hired me for those 2 classes. But other than that, I mean, that's it. I'm not doing anything else yet.
Yeah. But Linda, you were telling me before we went live that you've seen a lot more teachers teaching in Spanish. Yeah.
Oh yes, it's so amazing and it's so beautiful because I mean, I haven't been a yoga teacher very long, you know, and actually when I found about accessible yoga, I was just out of yoga training, you know, and because I was teaching at a senior center and I was forced to teach a bilingual chair yoga, which nobody, you know, I was like, this was not part of my 200. But anyways, but now, you know, I've met so many, especially now, like younger yoga teachers that are like on it, you know, they're like, they're coming out of everywhere and it's amazing because they're all like here in the US. So, you know, like Jasmine from Yoga Buzz, you know, her, and then I have, I got to meet, I was telling before we got started with the meeting, when Sarah came down here to Austin to do the accessible yoga training, there was 2 teachers that, Latinas, you know, and that are here in Austin. One's from Spain and the other one is from Ecuador, I think. And they're teaching accessible yoga here in Austin, and then they started to teach in Spanish. So I kept in contact with them, and then other teachers that, of course, given out, you know, that are in accessible yoga that I started to follow, that I feel like they're amazing, and they're all like just everywhere. It's crazy, like it's like it's really amazing how. And then I met also the girl from New York. She has a yoga studio in New York. She's from Puerto Rico. I can't remember. It'll come to me, but I mean, it's crazy. Like
there are a lot, yeah.
There's ability everywhere, and I just feel like the community in bilingual, like Spanish here in the U.S. We need we need to rise up a little bit more because I feel like we're all out there, we know each other, but I feel like, we need to unite more, and I feel like the accessible yoga in Espanol is a great way to do it.
Yeah, I hope that that's a useful group, but maybe, maybe you need to start your own separate group. There probably are some, I imagine.
Yeah, there's some very good groups. I know Alma knows of a lot of them, and I was thinking about starting one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And also we have, within accessible yoga, Amma, who's here, teaches
Yes.
the accessible yoga training in Spanish herself. She's a trainer for us. And also, I think you're going to translate my training in June, right? The one that I'm doing online.
Yes.
So it'll be a
Yes.
live translation.
Yeah, I will be very excited to do that, and I feel that the opportunity to have accessible yoga training, like with people from many countries and languages, will be amazing. I think it will be very challenging though, because what I have experienced, for me, one of the most difficult things teaching an online class has been not being able to see people. And sometimes even I cannot listen to them because if the signal is weak, they just turn off the camera, turn off the audio, and I feeling like myself, I'm doing it like by myself. It's so horrible. And for example, not being able to see if they are doing the poses correctly, safely, not being able to offer like some adaptation has been really a shock for me. And I always keep like asking me, and what is the magic of yoga? No, where did it go? Like, how can I just keep a little bit, at least, the magic of being in contact person to person? So, yeah, for me, it has been one of the thing. And the other thing with accessible yoga is that. In my case, for example, most of the students don't have all the props we need to make more accessible the poses. So this issue has involved like a lot of creativity and exploration from my part and from them to find ways to find how to replace the props by home objects or whatever.
That's what I've
But
been doing.
yes, but it's really another big challenge, and not being able to interact in a more close way. Yeah, but the training will be, I think will be amazing. I'm very excited, and also we have now your videos translated to Spanish. We have the captions in Spanish, so I think it will help too. And that will be wonderful because we couldn't do the second training in Spanish that it was going to be in Mexico City. It was planned to be in February, the past February, and we couldn't do it. So, and we were talking with Corazones Sabios, which is the institution we are working with Elizabeth. We were planning to do it, and actually we set another date for September. But now we think that perhaps it won't be possible.
No.
So yeah, so we will be wonderful to have the training in June. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to come and teach in Mexico City. I think it was 2 years ago. Was it? No.
Yeah.
That was amazing. But I'm just mostly really excited that you'll do it in Spanish yourself one day when we're open. The world is open again.
Yeah.
It would be great. Yeah. But yeah, those are things I'm concerned about in teaching online. There's not that personal connection, but I think there is the yoga still works, and I think it's more an internal experience people have. I think it demands more of the teacher. They have to bring more when you're teaching just to a camera. You can't rely on the feedback of the students in the same way. You have to just reach inside of yourself and teach, and it's really hard for me because I think in accessible yoga we focus so much on the community, adapting to the people who are actually in front of us. You know, it's really hard to do that on camera, so it is challenging for sure. But yoga is so needed right now. I think it's great that we're trying. So, you know, trying to do a little bit. There was a comment from Lorena. She said, "Thank you for mentioning that having internet service can be a privilege in many parts in our Hispanic communities or countries. In our countries, yeah. I know, like Amma, you're in Colombia. You've been having trouble with your internet, but it's working today."
Yes. I was just like praying for that.
You had to leave your house to go to this place, right, where you are now, to get internet today?
Yeah, I'm just in a neighbor's house because
That's quite a house. It's like a museum. It's like you're in a museum.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I also want to comment another thing that in relation with the new way to teach yoga and to experience the practice ourselves is that I have noticed from my students that the subtle practices of yoga like pranayama, meditation, the yoga nidra, they are just like asking more than before. I think now the thing of stress and anxiety is like a big issue at home, and people just want to have a space to calm the mind, to feel better. It's true also that they want to activate their bodies because we are like in a small place, small places in general. But the thing related with the mind is really an issue. So I think also it's challenging, but it's also a beautiful opportunity to come back to the essential teachings of yoga, to be able to expand a little bit more the essential part, and people is getting a lot from it, and it is in need. And another thing that I think is I think that now is also a beautiful opportunity for yoga to start like having a space in the mental health thing, because we need to train the mind. We need to teach people to watch their thoughts, to watch their feelings, and to manage themselves how to feel better. So there is challenges, but also beautiful opportunities, and especially I think for our vision as in accessible yoga is like a big part that is coming.
Yeah, thank you. That's beautiful. Amma, what about you? What are you experiencing these days with yoga, and how is your teaching changing, or your feelings about yoga changing? Or like, I guess what I mean is there's, I think what Amma is saying is there's this opportunity right now. What do you think about that?
Well, definitely my teaching has changed, and my personal practice has changed also, in the sense that I'm in sort of like a retreat at the moment, so I can concentrate my energy much more. I have the advantage that I'm working with the students that I have been working for in the past, I don't know, 2 years maybe. So I sort of know what their needs are, what might be beneficial. So I can really tailor the teachings to what I know will be doable. But I noticed that I've been changing my sequences and simplifying some things because I don't trust that through the media, through this media, certain things can be taught safely. The other thing that I notice is important is to go way slower. You cannot go as fast as you are in person, simply because there's always a delay chanting doesn't translate well neither. So I have to come up with other ways to work with that. And also a way to create interactions. What has been working at the moment is that I offer some ideas as inspiration. Maybe is to explain a yogic concept. I don't know, parigraha, or maybe it's a poem or something like that. And that guides us through the practice. And I try to apply it or to give some tips of how to look for experiences. And that seems to be working pretty well for people because this helps them go inwards. And I know it works because I usually get emails afterwards when they make comments. Wow, makra, with makrasana. Makra, I never thought of that. What an interesting myth. And blah, blah, blah. And they start sending me things. So there's a different kind of engagement, but you have to create it. And what I did is that at the end of my classes, I'm always scheduling like 10, 15 minutes at the end so that people have a little bit of a chance to chat. Because this is also how are we going to create community in these new conditions. And that's been serving that purpose. That's been very well taken by people. And to my surprise, people are not talking about coronavirus. They're talking about their dogs and cooking recipes and how do you make rosemary plant grow healthy. So beautiful things that we don't get a chance to do. So yeah, there's we lose some things, but we gain other things.
That's beautiful. Thanks. Well, I'm curious what maybe Linda, what do you think about the shift within the way the Latino community thinks of yoga? Like, is there a change going on now, or is it still? I mean, is it just with what's happening in the U.S. in general? Like,
well, I mean, like I said, I'm a new yoga teacher, and like since day one, when I got to have the blessing to go to Diane Bonding, one of the workshops that she had on the second accessible yoga conference, and she opened up my eyes right to like how yoga can be part of like civil rights, you know. And to me, at least over here in the U.S., and this is what I have noticed from the people that I've had the opportunity to meet that live all over the world that are yoga teachers. Like here in the U.S., and I'm sure Alma, Alma, when you came over here to Austin, we were talking about it, how like it's been very difficult for me to teach yoga here in Austin because we were talking like it's not part of our culture, right? And so like in the Latino community, there's like certain beliefs, and I've been told so many things by different people, and that why don't they go to my yoga class, you know? But I think because I've been here in Austin for like 5 years, and this is where I got my training. Like people in the community are starting to kind of know me just a little bit, like trust me, you know. And so it's like I'm taking whatever's happening right now as an opportunity, like what I'm almost saying, like bring it up, like show it more, you know, like putting it on Facebook because I know the majority of the people in my community have Facebook. So everybody's on Facebook all the time. Not so much Instagram. You know, maybe like the younger crowd is on Instagram, you know. But a certain group of age is only on Facebook. So that's why I focus a lot on Facebook because to me those are like the people that need it the most, you know, because at the beginning of the pandemic they were like this is a higher risk. And so I try to make my yoga classes and like, hey, you use a book, you know, like you don't have to be flexible. Like grab your foot and move it to the front, you know, like I try to make it as like you don't need to look like this person in the magazine. You don't need to say all the yoga poses in Sanskrit. Like I don't use a lot of Sanskrit, you know. So I try to keep it to where everyone in my community can identify, you know. And so I'm starting to like, you know, and that's why I go Facebook because every, it's taking it out there, you know, and mental health is very important, you know. I've always been an advocate for personal reasons. I mean, you know, like my oldest son, he, got a mental illness. So I always talk a lot about mental health, you know, and try to make it as common as possible in a conversation so people can feel very comfortable. Because right now, well, I don't know about everyone else, but like the services for the mental health here in Austin for a while were closed. You couldn't communicate. And so, you know, and so we were starting to see here in Austin a lot of domestic violence and, you know, a lot of things like that. So that's why I always try to make it to where the people that have never done it can feel comfortable and,
Right.
you know.
That's wonderful. I wonder if you have anything else to share, Amma. Maybe we should wrap up in a couple of minutes, but do you have anything else you want to share, Amma?
Perhaps just to share with you that I'm participating in an initiative to bring yoga to homes through the National Public Television channel. So I'm very excited about this initiative. We are still in the process of application and everything. Perhaps it takes a little bit of time, but for us, we think that is very crucial because most people, like especially the marginalized communities, don't have access to internet in Colombia. So that's the truth. So being able to connect with homes through the television channel will be wonderful. And the thing that we are like trying to do is to offer short sessions of yoga accessible to all members of the household. So I will be teaching in a share very simple practices, breath practices, and like accessible to all. So I'm very excited about that. Hopefully it works out.
That's amazing. Yeah. You know, Lilias Folan in the US, you know, she's famous. She was teaching yoga on PBS in the United States for a long time. So you can be like Lilias Folan of Colombia.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Well, they're lucky to have you, though. You're an amazing teacher. Alma, anything else you want to share about your teaching? What are your plans?
Well, you know, I'm learning not to make plans at the moment. I'm learning to see, you know, how things go.
Very
But I was
wise.
thinking that it's interesting that now we're having all these issues with how do we make yoga accessible at a time when we cannot meet. So it's another challenge. I see this as another level of a challenge for us as people who are interested in making yoga accessible. One day we're going to look back, I don't know when, and we're going to say, okay, when the pandemic happened, this is what we did to make yoga accessible, hopefully. You know? And hopefully we'll have a little bit of happiness from that, in spite of everything that is going on and how difficult it is at the moment.
I agree. I think accessible yoga teachers in this community have been doing that already, you know, making yoga accessible in many ways, translating to different languages, different formats, teaching to communities that don't normally have, adapting the practice. So I actually think there's so much this community can share with the rest of the yoga world right now. Especially people who are getting sick. Like a lot of my work personally has been with people with disabilities, physical disabilities. So I feel like, well, if there's people with chronic issues related to COVID, that's something we could help with as well. I mean, that's the work we've been doing for a long, long time.
Yeah, I was thinking
Right,
the same.
right.
I was thinking like this community, we're pretty much prepared. I mean, I hate to say that, but because of the communities that we serve, it just makes it easier for, I mean, like that side, like to transition and make it more accessible.
Right.
I mean, I still gotta learn the whole,
Yeah.
going viral, whatever, Zoom and all that, but other than that, I think this
Yeah.
whole community, I think we just make it happen.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
also people with disabilities, a lot of this community are people with disabilities themselves who've been learning to adapt their lives and working online and working from home.
Yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
And also the way the world is learning about isolation and how to handle that is something I think a lot of people in our community have been doing for a long time. Well, we're working on putting our next conference online actually instead of in person. So I think it'll be in October. We're going to do an online accessible yoga conference, so maybe you can be a part of that as well. At that point, that's another opportunity to bring together different communities around the world. So I definitely will talk to you then. The other thing, Alma, I want to mention the blog. I know you've been translating articles and writing for the blog,
Yes.
Accessible Yoga.
Yeah, I've been happily translating because I think it's important that people can read them. So I hope they bring something. I hope some sort of communication can start.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all. If you want to say anything else, I just appreciate your time and all the work you're doing, all three of you. I just remind people again, you're going to be doing another call in Spanish on May 14th. So we'll put some information up about that soon so that you can actually reach this community that we're talking about directly by talking in Spanish. But I mean, this has been helpful too, I think, to educate the English-speaking world as well about all of your work. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Giovanna. Thank you all of you. Great to see you all. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.